Hi, I'm Cindy Jones, and I am the coordinator for the Mood Disorder Support and Educational Group here in the Triangle area of North Carolina. And I have with me today Todd McPhail, and he is a producer and director, and he's going to talk about a film that he has done on the issue of bipolar. And this group itself has been meeting for almost 15 years. We like to have speakers come. We talk about all issues related to mood disorders, from the subtle things like the financials to the social things to jobs and all the nuances that happen, because it's not just like a singular event. And it started because I was doing a lot of walking in the hallway with my colleagues at Duke, and we would talk about clients and resources and try to figure out ways to help folks. And I said, this would be much nicer if we had the community involved. And then we started having a meeting in person and bringing in speakers and just really collaborating about how we can help each other. There's a group called, thank you, the National Alliance of Mental Illness, and that group is advocates for folks with mood disorders, and we are modeling after that. What I'm going to also tell you is I need everybody to mute while we're recording. Yeah. Hi, guys. So also a thing about this group is that, we aren't a therapy group, but we do talk about things that can be very sensitive. So we try to keep our confidentiality, like to not talk about things with any specifics about people if you are moved about something that we touch upon. What I'm going to do as we are talking is, if you want to put something in the chat, that will be part of maybe some of the discussion. And at the end, after we're finished recording, then I'll break it all down. I'll stop, and then we can talk freely. Okay. So would you like to talk just a little bit about your film and why you decided to make this film?
So initially, I made the film, or my partner and I made the film. We were looking to expand on some of the things that we were doing and just trying to show people a little bit more of what we were capable of. And so at the time, we didn't have a lot of content. So it was really just about creating content. And I was kind of like thinking about, what can we do? How can we do this? And I was like, oh, my brother's an artist, and I'd love to maybe help him get a little bit more promotion. And so initially, it wasn't even about being bipolar. It was really just about showing him, or helping him maybe get a little bit more exposure with some type of film. So that's what we started out. And initially, it really started out to be maybe a 3 to 5 minute kind of like, hey, I'm Ryan, I'm an artist, this is what I do, and just kind of show a few things. But we drove to upstate New York, where he lives, and spent a weekend there, and it kind of just morphed into something else. So every day that, and plus at the time I had seen him a few months before, and he was struggling. He was a little bit kind of almost catatonic in some ways. If you didn't engage him, he wasn't engaging. He'd almost kind of sit and be a little bit out of it. And that was the first time I'd kind of seen him in that way. And so it was very disturbing. And also just like, then all that uneasiness is like, is he mad at me? Did I do something? Am I a trigger, me being here? So all those kind of things are running through your head. But then it came down to, it could be medication, where he's getting, they're trying to juggle all these medications and figure out what works and what doesn't. So we started filming, and it turned into that Ryan just, he kind of just opened up. I mean, some of the questions we asked him, it wasn't really about being bipolar. It's just like when we asked him certain questions, he really just opened up. But it was almost like the camera somehow allowed him to do that where he maybe didn't talk that freely before. And it was amazing, because a lot of times you're doing stuff like this, you're interviewing people can be self-conscious about the camera and intimidated. And he like just blurted out stuff, and we were doing stuff in one takes, which I was like, it's like he's killing it,
I love it.
And especially, as you watch the film at the end, I was just like, okay, this has turned into something I didn't expect. And so we've got a lot of great response, and so I'm really happy about it and proud of it, and proud of him always, but just proud of like where it ended up. And then now me being in a situation like this where I maybe want to talk about um, mental illness and mood disorders more to other people, to kind of maybe share the experience as a sibling.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I think that's one of the pieces that really drew me to it is, more exposure of folks who are dealing and actually thriving. I know he said he goes back and forth, but his art is amazing. And it's not like he's this guy with a mood disorder. He's a human who has multiple facets. And one is that he's a family man and he's an artist. And your portrayal of him really captured me, right? Like this, it's just beautiful. And I think that often that's overlooked. In my little write-up, there's this piece of a sense that they're other. Like we can't be with folks that have something that we don't really understand. Like it's too much for us. And the fact is, there's aspects of it that we learn about ourselves, right? Like all of us are affected by mood disorders one way or another. And the only way we're going to get through it is to like lift each other up and learn. There's places where mood disorders are less, and it's really weird, and we want to know why. And it's not just because of medicine. So, these kind of things. He says something about what it's like to be a family man, and that'll come in the film. We'll talk about that a little bit afterward. But there's something about being in a group, being in a community, being able to be seen as just a person that is its own effect of wellness. And so that's part of my advocacy. So you want to go ahead?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Give us a second while we try to get this going. I'm going to stop recording till we pull this up.
Hello there.
For those of you who are watching this recording, what we did is took a break and played the film, and that link will be embedded. And really, we just want you to see the film and creating a bookend discussion on either side of it. But wow, even though I've seen it before, new things come through, and for me, as a person that has family members with severe mood disorders, I felt like I kept trying to tell people, but that's not all that they are. There's so much more to them. There's parts that pop through that is like great as a human, and but they demanded a lot. Family members demanded a lot of me, and so other people around would say, get rid of them. You're spending too much of your life. You need to live your own life. And I know, and there's these pieces that I can't just leave that.
Sure.
So that wasn't scripted. Like just like boom, I just want to take like quotes of him and put that on some of his
No,
work.
that's what I mean. Like some of it came out kind of like I said in a way that was like we like almost had written it out. But none of it wasn't scripted in that sense. So.
Yeah.
Especially there at the end when he was talking about therapy and all that kind of stuff and how it's changed his life. But that stuff that just kind of came out. So we just let the camera roll. Like I said, he did that in one shot, and I was just like, oh my god. So like I said, you could feel that it was turning into something different than what we wanted or what we were trying to do. So
something
better. Yeah, no, I think better. I mean, definitely for him and maybe for me and family members and my friends. I've had a lot of friends reach out to me whose kids have issues or that they never talked about it, and they felt like they're like, hey man, that was really awesome, and I can't wait to show my daughter this because she's had this or she's got an issue. And I didn't know that because he never talked about it, because most people tend to not tell other family members, or it's private, it's secret, and so
And taboo and shame
yeah,
and
yeah,
all
yeah.
that.
It makes you feel like it's because they're this way, it was my fault or
Right.
something, So in this
Right.
way, hopefully, um, people learn a little bit more and don't take it
Right.
so hard.
The part that really captured me was about well, there were several parts, obviously, but the family member part, that has made a really big difference for him in terms of his focus. And
Yeah, his son, yeah, for sure. That's me.
yes. And um, in the clients that I work with, that is also what they say, right? That there's something that can like help them push through, since mood disorders are a neurochemical, a neurophysiological, just like diabetes, just or worse, cancer. Like the body is struggling. It's not a personality, it's not a moral issue. So this part, this like, I can't get up out of bed, I can't organize myself, I am so agitated, I want to scream. And this way of just being able to rise, being such a human, like, yay.
Yeah.
And they'll do that for their family. And it's, I don't know, it's just like a hero kind of thing. It's a hidden struggle. And for them to come through, certainly story in my family, and what I champion people that I'm working with, and my colleagues. Some of my colleagues are here with me today. So I, y'all can chat. You can send me a question if you want on this, but I'm going to ask a few questions
Sure.
of you
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
How long did it take to do it?
So the filming was done in one weekend. We had talked about it for a few weeks to try to figure out like timing, how we could do it, and then that was also an issue. Is like I said, when he's feeling it, when he's not,
Right.
and then sometimes when you're not, when he kind of like goes out of the picture, then you're really kind of maybe just talking to his wife, and then, so, and then even then, with sometimes we're all gotten much closer through the years, but then sometimes too, it's just like maybe she's not really ready to tell you what's happening because you don't know, and so you just kind of like okay. But it actually happened relatively smoothly. And then, like I said, even when I was there filming, I said, even for me, it's traumatic because we'd gone through many periods of our life where I was telling you before, where we probably didn't speak a word to each other on 2 different occasions, maybe for a total of 10 years, which is also like crazy to think back on, that we didn't even talk because we had a blowout or a fight. And it just became so heated, and we had those fights and not even know what it was. Like, right. I think the first fight, I didn't even know. I was just always like, dude, what is wrong with you? Like, I mean, it's a horrible thing to say, but like, or, not that even for me, like, what's wrong with me? I mean, I can't push all the blame on him, but there would just be something where you're just like, man, can't we work this out? And it would just be like, no, it's like cut off. And then I struggled with like dealing with other family members, and then you talk about it a little bit with each other, and then you're just like, where I was still always a big pro Ryan, always, no matter what, even though through those bad times where I wasn't getting the good stuff, I was still trying to be pro Ryan. And I would say the last time where we did talk for a long time, I think that was the point where I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Like the struggle with family, what it was doing to me, my wife, kids, and then whatever was on his end, it was just like, I can't keep doing this. This is horrible. I don't want to do this anymore. And then an episode happened to me where I was in the hospital and wasn't feeling great and not doing well. And then I think my wife at the time had made a list of people I needed to contact, and my brother was on there. Or maybe I can't remember if he called me, if I called him. I think he called me. Maybe my mom made the list and had people reach out to me. But that was the time when we finally kind of got back together. And it's like it's been a slow process. There's been good and bad. But I would say the last few years have been great. Probably better than in the past 20 years, for sure. We've gotten much closer. We communicate all the time. Like I said, he still has some days where he's not doing great, and he'll call me, and I say to him that, I think it's great that there's days where I can talk him off the cliff, the edge, and he does it for me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
knows.
dual, and he knows, and it's beautiful. Like I had something happen not too long ago, and he was that person for me, and I could rely on him.
What's he
And
think of the film?
oh, he loves it. We just talked about it today, and he just loves that. You know, obviously, I asked him if I could do this, you know, with his permission, and he was totally cool with it. He goes, any way that we could spread the word is good.
Yeah,
So I like that
and
about him
spread the
too. That he's
hope
not
and-
like, you know, I think the whole thing about this film coming out for him, and that, you know, there's been, you know, a couple thousand people see it, is that now it's not just a family thing,
right. That's the
or
whole-
maybe immediate
yeah,
thing.
not
Now
secret.
there's people that he's never heard of or known that know about him and know what his thing is, and but are championing him and buy his stuff and send him notes like, "Hey, man, that's so awesome!" Or even the music for the video was done by somebody that was just following Ryan that he had never met. I think he bought something from Ryan, and then when Ryan asked to put the word out if he knew someone that could write us some music, and the guy was like, "Oh yeah, no problem." And so that was cool. Like we got some music out of it. And to kind of help complete the story. It makes a big difference. Perfect. Yeah, and I mean, the guy was amazing. So, yeah, so a lot of good has come out of it. Like I said, a lot of friends passed it on to their friends and family members, and I don't even know how many others, because there's still people out there that don't want to talk about it. And I've had friends that I asked to join it today that I know are having struggles, and they're like, you know, I can't today, right? And I get it. So it's no pressure.
Right. Well, in terms of, you know, passing it forward, this very much lines up with the National Alliance of Mental Illness. So they're inspiring to me, to my clients, to my family, to my colleagues, right? This group that comes together peer-based and have family members come around and, you know, learn and teach and pass it forward in terms of support system. So this is just something that is just very much in alignment that to get rid of stigma and to be able to speak about it, because it is a physiological issue.
Yeah.
Right. In terms of research to better understand. I mean, I've been in the field 30 years. So the medicines that we used to use, they're better and better, but still really behind in being able to hit the mark and not have such severe side effects.
Yeah.
Right?
That seems to be the biggest.
So like you know, we're not done, and we don't understand what's going on with the body. Like the work of psychiatry and mental health has really only been active for about 100 years. And you look at other illnesses, and they've had hundreds of years to figure out, like, why is this still this way, and what can we do to make it better? But we're just still slow.
Yeah.
So this kind of stuff, clearly I'm activated in a good way. What we're going to do is say goodbye here, and then let you guys have a chance to chat. Let me just double check about that. Let me see what that one is before we go. Can you see it? Thank you everyone for being here, and we hope that you will promote this and reach back out to Todd or me on the different platforms. Certainly we want to like get this seen by folks, and you know, just keep spreading the word. So we'll sign off for now, and hold on a second, and I will pick this